February 12th, and we are back live from Pittsburgh, PA.
We're finally back home. It's been quite a road trip.
It's
good to be home.
It's great to be home, and we are super pumped because we have 2 auctions coming up this weekend. We have a double header. We have Cyber Toy auctions this Saturday, the 17th, entitled Wintertime Toys and Banks. And it begins at 10 a.m. EST on liveauctioneers.com. And on Sunday, February 18th, we have our 37th Old Toy Soldier auction entitled Wintertime. Or actually, that's not Wintertime, excuse me. It is called Toy Soldiers in Winter Dress.
Toy Soldiers in Winter Dress?
Yes.
Appropriate for a wintertime. They didn't even call for snow last night, and we got like 4 inches of snow. It's definitely wintertime still.
It's wintertime.
Where's my wintertime dress?
I don't know.
This will work, I guess.
Yes, that works just fine. So they both auctions begin at 10 a.m. EST on Saturday and Sunday. Like I said, you can go on liveauctioneers.com and you can register to bid. You can watch the auctions live there. We're also still accepting absentee, phone, and email bids. We'll be in the office all week this week. If you have any questions, we are happy to answer anything that you might have. So with that being said, let's get started because we have 2 auctions worth of lots to feature and show you today.
We're going to do Cyber Toys first, right?
Yes, we're starting with Cyber Toys.
You know, I always refer to you as a monkey, right?
I might have heard that a
We're
time
going to
or
see if
two.
you're a wise monkey now.
So we are starting with this little bank. It is a still bank. It's made of cast iron. It is lot 526, and it is called the 3 Wise Monkeys. And I just love it because not only, I mean, I've said this 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. I love animals and monkeys, but they remind me of the monkey emojis
Well,
on
that's what they're based on.
your cell phone.
That's the turn of the century emoji there. The 3 wise ones, what do they see or not see?
It is see no evil.
That's speak no evil.
Yeah, speak no evil, hear
no evil, see no evil. Which one do you prescribe to?
Well, depends on what time of the day it is, I guess.
I think I'm a speak no evil. At least I try.
I think that's what everyone strives for sure.
That's right.
But as you can see, there is a hole there for a penny, and it is a still bank. And it also has a fantastic provenance.
Yeah, this is part of the Kirk Addis collection. Now, Kirk, with his mother and father, collected essentially. He's my age, or maybe a couple years older, so he's in his mid-50s. And he's collected since he was a young boy. Him and his parents would go around to local shows and shops. They lived in the Iowa area, and they amassed a huge collection of still banks and mechanicals. And we're selling a number of his still banks in the cyber sale. And then in March, we have the primary bulk of his collection is going to be sold in the next RSL sale, which I believe is March 17th.
Yes, March 17th.
So really nice. Everything's sort of fresh out of the farm country. You know, it's really as found condition, and there's a lot of nice banks. You know, this bank's fairly common, but just great subject matter, and you know, it's a must in any collection, really. It's going to be very affordable too.
It is. So this lot, if you're looking for it in Cyber Toy auctions on Live Auctioneers, is 526, and it was circa about 1910.
1910. Now, also in this sale, we have some more modern toys. So this is a little tin litho toy of a monkey batting.
Yes.
You wind them up.
As Ray said, he's made of tin, and he is lot.
Look at that tail go.
His tail spins quite quickly as he swings. He gets ready to hit the bat. Hit the ball.
So again, these are great toys made in Japan. This is after the war, I believe. On his helmet there, it says M. I don't know if that's for Mets or monkey. What do you think?
Could be for either, but on
what's it say on his chest?
On his chest, on his uniform, it says our team. So it could be any team.
Our team. That's the Pirates here. Yeah, this
in Pittsburgh,
it
yes.
looks like it's an Alps toy. There's a mark under here, AAA. I believe that's Alps.
And he's number 25 on the back. And as Ray said, he's made of tin, and he's lot 153.
25. Who's a fan of
But
that?
I like the baby blue coloring and the
Great
detail.
graphics, great subject matter.
You know, and the 2 red stripes on his green bat up here, up top.
It really does. Actually, this one with it, his tail's actually made sort of a rubber. and the rest is all tin lithographed. It works really well.
He does work very well. Yes, and it does say Japan on his backside there.
Yeah, I believe it's Alps. So that's
He's
one.
really cool.
Now staying with
I
the
like him a
baseball
lot.
theme. Now this bank's out actually also from the Addis collection, and this is a fairly rare bank. Baseball and 3 bats.
Mm-hmm. And this is lot 462, and it's in great condition. I mean, not only if you are a bank collector, I think that it's a great piece for a baseball player or a baseball fan. I just think that it crosses many fields and many markets, and it is a very popular still bank.
Yeah, it really is. This bank has a lot of crossover. So we sell a lot of Darktown battery banks, and then this bank to baseball collectors. They also made some baseball still banks made by A.C. Williams of a batter with a bat, and those you'll see in sport collectors collections, but this bank in particular they love because it goes well. Like if you have a bunch of signed baseballs, you put it behind there. You know, it really has a nice sort of form to it. So it's dated 1914, so it's fairly early. It's listed National and American leagues.
It just reminds me, I mean, so is there, I don't know why I thought of this right now, but is there a basketball bank? Because I know there's the Calamity for football.
There is
And then
not.
you have the Darktown, which is also baseball.
As
And
far
you have
as
this
I
one.
know, there are no old banks that are basketball. I think there is a Julius Erving bank that was made in the 70s or 80s.
Or hockey.
There's a hockey bank. There's a Bobby Orr bank, which I've had, and that's actually fairly rare. At one time, that bank sold for around $1,500 to $1,800. It's maybe come down to around $1,000. But Bobby Orr, Phillies. That's Flyers because I know he played for Philly, and then I forget who they're playing with. But it's a goalie. It's a nice big bank. It's a nice bank.
So that's Bobby Orr. Well, that's interesting. I wonder why that would be. It was just, that's just really what the
They
sports
never
were
made.
popular.
Yeah, they never made a basketball one, which seems sort of interesting.
But we do have baseball.
We do have baseball there for any of your baseball fans.
So, and I don't know if Ray stated earlier, but it's made by Hubley, circa 1910, and that is also from the Addis collection. And next we're gonna move
back
on
over here.
to, this is lot 341.
It's the Fishing Bears.
The Fishing Bears. And this is a fun one. I think that, I mean, obviously for fishermen, that's the obvious one, but it says on the back, it has some script, let's enjoy fishing with Bear's family and save a million. Which we all know everyone wants to do. So
I'd like to
that's
save
fun.
$1 million. You think I could fit $1 million in that bank?
I think it might be a little tight. Well, I mean, you could fit it if you had it on your phone.
Now, we have a fair number of mechanicals in this cyber sale, but this is one that we haven't shown before, and it's one of my favorites. Now, of course, it's a battery-operated bank. Of course, I went to put the batteries in. I got them right here, D-size batteries. Takes 2 of them, show them, Bree.
Yes.
Underneath there. And the battery compartment is very clean. I couldn't get it to work. So I tried and I tried. I think really the little contacts need cleaned up a little bit. There's no real like oxidation or rust in there. So it should work, and it's sort of an unusual bank in that you need to use a coin to activate it. So you put the batteries in, again, the compartment looks good. The coin slot here, and actually when you put a coin in, that actually completes the circuit. So when you put it in like that, it should operate. It wasn't though. Really interesting though, it has a complex movement, but what I really like about it is it actually has an electromagnet at the end here. So this actually, when there's a charge in it, there's a small fish, which we're missing. So there's a little fish that goes in the fishing pond here. The bear comes over, he goes down, he grabs the fish. The electromagnet works. He comes over here, he puts it into the pot. Little baby bear watches it cook, and then mama comes up and serves it to him. So it has very elaborate action. It's a large bank. It has a lot of presence to it. This one's actually in very nice condition, and you will see this sort of mint with the original box occasionally. These usually sell around the $1,200, $1,500. This one, because I think this one, just a little bit of work, you could get it going. Very nice bank. Again, for the more modern banks, especially battery-operated bank, I think this is one of the nicest ones. Made in Japan by W Toy. Why don't you show them that?
Yes.
Little logo there.
This is the little logo Ray was mentioning here on this side.
So So that's our little bears.
But it's a charming little fishing bank. So
Yeah,
if you're looking
very
for the
nice.
fishing bears, that is lot
For
341.
anyone who likes fishing. Brittany, I know you like fishing.
Brett? Yes. Okay, we are switching gears a little bit. Well, kind of. We're
Okay.
sticking in the bear
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
This is lot 24. It's the Overland Circus polar bear. Hold on one second.
Well, it might be a little tricky to get that in there.
Okay, so it does come apart
There
into
you
two
go.
pieces, as you just saw.
Two
I can
pieces.
twist it apart there. But this one is in beautiful condition. You can see the patina and how thick the paint is on here. It's just really, really nice.
Now, the interesting thing about this toy, it's one of the first toys that Ray ever owned. And I'll tell this to a lot of people. People ask me, like, how can you get your kids to collect? Okay, my parents bought this toy, this exact toy, not this exact one, but an Overland Circus bear cage, and gave it to myself and my brother. Overland Circus was made by Kenton. The only other circus line out there in cast iron toys is called the Royal Circus, which was made by Hubley. These started in the late 40s, and they basically produced up until I think the early 60s. The earliest ones, the front wheel here will be cast iron, nickel plated. The later ones are rubber. So I would date this sort of from the late 50s. We do have the box. These drivers are removable. But I'll tell you what, back to the collecting. The main reason that I think I love toys and I play with them, I'm not afraid of them, I'm not afraid to touch them, is when I was a kid, my parents gave me this toy, and I pulled this through the house with a string. It hit the side of the walls. You know, I would spin in circles with it, and you know, we really played with it like it was a toy, which is what it was meant to be.
Right, that's true.
So I had the bear cage. I believe my brother had the bandwagon, and then the rarest piece of which we didn't have is the calliope. So those are the three horse-drawn pieces to the Overland Circus. They also produced a number of motorized vehicles. They made a motorized calliope. They made a motorized bear cage. So they made some motorized things, you know, that sort of were truck-driven. But great toy. It's very common, but you know, in beautiful condition, it's a beautiful toy.
It is.
This we do consider an early original toy. They did make reproductions of these too, but you know, very affordable. I would sort of expect this to sell in the $400 to $500 range, maybe.
Tell us a couple of the telling signs for a reproduction of this particular toy.
Well, this particular toy, the horses won't be cast nearly as smooth. So they'll be much rougher. And I don't know, see these guys come off, so I'll take them off so you can show it to the camera. But if you look at the horses there, the casting is very smooth on it.
Yes, it's shiny actually. You can see them shining.
The reproductions, there's more of a texture to the horses. Again, the color combination, I believe there's a little different, but the colors, this is the colors that Kenton painted their toys. For some reason, I think on the reproduction, the wheels are painted like white, whereas these are silver with the yellow hub. So those are some of the things you're looking for, but it really comes down to the texture of the metal. That's how you tell if it's original or not.
And it even says USA. There's a stamp, made in USA.
Kenton Hardware.
On the bottom.
Out of Ohio. But very common toy. This is a toy that you'll still can find in like thrift shops every once in a while, antique stores. You know, it's sort of from that vintage where they do show up. But very, very nice toys, and you know, even made in the 60s, they're 50 years old.
And you can even unlatch the back
That's
of
what
it.
I love, that part.
And you
I
can,
didn't say it.
pull the little polar bear out.
See, this has a nice, the way that the door opens here, it's nice. It opens and then it sort of pivots down. The Hubley Royal Circus, the cage just sort of slides up.
So this one, you lift it up, and it actually comes all the way down, so you can get the bear out.
I get the bear out.
And he can go play for a little bit, and you can put him back in.
Is he going to play with you? And I believe
he might not be very nice, but we could give him some fish.
Overland Circus, I believe, only came with a bear. I'm trying to remember. The Royal Circus, you could have bear, you could have lion, tiger, brown bear or polar bear, and then rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
Then they actually made a giraffe too, but that's a whole different cage. So we call those cages. So that's a horse-drawn cage, circus cage.
Once again, if you're looking for that one, that is lot 24. So it'll be early on. We're starting the sale at 10 a.m., so that would probably be within the first 10 to 15 minutes. If you're
It'll be
looking for
quick.
it.
It'll be quick.
Next, we are moving on to a celluloid toy, and this is a Mickey Mouse Squeak toy.
Give it a little squeak there. And look at little Mickey. Yeah, we have a fantastic collection of celluloid toys. Celluloid is an early plastic. They sort of came out right before the war, World War II. The majority of them being produced sort of in the late 40s, early 50s. And this is little Mickey Mouse on a Squeak. I think we also have Donald and
We do.
one other, I think, in the series. But in this collection, a fantastic grouping of early baby rattles, baby Squeak toys like this. A lot of really nice, intricate celluloid toys, comic character toys. This one we picked because Mickey Mouse, and again, everyone likes Mickey.
Yes. And he was in about 1940.
Yeah,
So
and
the
again,
Squeak toy.
these were actually kids' toys, so that was meant to give to a young child, and they'd sit there and they'd squeeze that
It's
thing all day
amazing
long.
the little puppy never got his hands on this.
Or anyone got their hands on it. Even a little boy, I think, would squish that to nothing quickly.
I think so too. So Mickey is lot 145. And we are staying in the celluloid. We're going to go on this Popeye, who everybody loves Popeye.
Yeah.
He's a walking figure, and he is also
We're
celluloid.
gonna wind him up. This is Popeye here. Watch him grow. Look at that head go up.
So he's fired
I
up.
think he just had some spinach there. He looks like he's ready to rock.
He's a little fired up. Unfortunately, we don't have his partner, Olive Oil, but we do have him, and it says on his back, copyright King Features. That's kind of interesting.
Ah. Yeah,
King
real
Features,
nice.
Inc., 1929.
Very early. You know, with this pipe, really beautiful condition. There's a little bit of denting in from place to place, but really exceptional condition for this rare toy.
It is, and you can even see here, a lot of the times this will wear off. This is his anchor tattoo on the side, just from grabbing him or holding him to wind him up like that. So that's really neat to actually see that, and he's really nice.
He really
I like
is.
him a lot. So
I like the
Popeye.
I've always loved the celluloid toys. I know my mother really liked them, and we have a really nice grouping of them, including this one.
So Popeye 148, and then this one is lot 154
This is the chef.
with Hen.
Get him going here. Come on. We knew one wouldn't work. We had them all working before, but we knew one wasn't going to work for us. Try a different key here.
Let's they're a little old and
Oh, here
tired.
we go. That key was just the wrong side. Now that guy's going to make himself some chicken soup there. That rooster is in trouble. But look at the action on that.
Yeah, he has great action.
I'm going to make me some soup.
He has great action. His colors are bright. I mean, even in his pants and the back of his shirt there. He also has his little original stamp.
Yeah, it's like a little export stamp, I believe, on there.
Right there on his back.
Again, these are all made in Japan. A lot of them occupied Japan. That's when the U.S. occupied Japan. They started up basically capitalism. So there's a lot of toys that were produced during that period. Again, there's a couple little dents and things on this toy, but really exceptional condition. Very fun toy, very graphic, nice size. Shows up well on the shelf.
And he's obviously in working order.
Good working order.
He is. And next, we are moving on to lot 54, the Union Clockwork Train. And Ray will show you how this one operates as well.
Okay, so this is one of the earlier toys that we had in Cyber Toys this time. This is made by Ives Blakesley out of Connecticut. Now, we've talked about these before. It's a Clockwork Train. These are floor trains. So this is from this period, they had not yet figured that we can make a train that runs on tracks in the house. So these trains were just meant to roll across the floor. They would come either with a clockwork mechanism or not. But I mean, this one really just sort of has nice action to it. You need a long key, and it sort of fits through. It gets on there. Hold on.
And this actually, it does have beautiful detailing on the side too. It says Union.
So you got it going. There you go. It's
See
very
it chugging along
realistic
there.
action. has a little bell that rings on top there. You could actually set the front wheels. So on these, you can set the front wheels. See, with this little lever, you could set in a certain thing, and then it would actually do like a circle, or you could even get it to do a figure 8 pattern. It's cool. Depending on how you set the front wheels.
It's really detailed.
Yeah, it's larger. This is, probably almost 12, 13, 14 inches maybe.
You can see the mechanism.
So that's one of the larger sizes of locomotives there. Very collectible, very desirable, nice toy. Union, again, the railway was basically all developed in the north. That's one of the reasons we really won the war. And they were, and the thing that I like about these is you always see the toy version and they're very fancy colors. But that's the way they really treated them when they were made. They were like these beautiful objects made by man, and they painted them in very elaborate colors with a lot of detail and stenciling. And when they would come to town, it was an event. Everyone from town would come out to see the trains come in.
And you mentioned stenciling. There's even stenciling on the roof here. You could see it right there. And it is, it's got green and reds in there. The wheels are really beautiful. I just think it's a really nice train. And even the windows here that Ray's talking about, the detailing, look at the shapes of the windows, how they were cut out. It's all just very intricate design. I
love American Tin. I think it's one of the most artistic of all toy forms. Just again, like this toy, the scale isn't really, like the Germans would make this toy very sort of shrunken to scale. This is sort of very fanciful. In this case, the cabin, these guys would be huge. In real life, that boiler is much bigger. The cabin is much smaller. But I just think, it looks like a toy to me. That's what you like.
It does. So when we talk about, this is American tin, and we talk about, German or European tin toys, is scale a big depictor of the difference in the two?
Well, yeah. Again, the American manufacturers made this train in probably 5 or 6 different scales. Now, the German manufacturers, too, would produce in different scales. So Markland, goes from very small, like there's modern scales now, so they have like a Z scale, which is teeny. But back when it began, you basically had gauge 0, 1, 2, and 3. And 3 was sort of the size that you would actually ride on. So those are the rarest of all of them. I shouldn't say the rarest of all, but, very few of those were sold because they were immense.
Right.
You see like a gauge 3 loco in like Markland, literally it's
big.
That big. It's a big thing. So, the scale does matter. A lot of collectors will sort of collect different scales, but this I think is one of the nicest, most impressive scales that they made. We do have the next scale up coming up in the next RSL March sale. That's the loco itself is probably about 16 inches long, maybe even a little bigger. But,
well, I think it's a beautiful piece.
It is.
I can even see it without a track running below a tree of some type.
That's what they did.
So that is the Union Clockwork Train Lot 54. And next we are going planes and trains and automobiles. So we're gonna go planes now.
We're over a plane.
This is the Sparkling Aeroplane. It came with its original box. It is lot 263. It was made by Marx.
Marx was a big manufacturer out of New York City. They made hundreds of toys. Probably, was the biggest manufacturer for a certain time between like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It was really its heyday. But this is a working plane. They call it a sparking plane. And you want to show them how the sparks work, Bree? Well, underneath here, they actually have wheels with flints on it. And then underneath the machine guns, there's actually little metal pieces. So when the lights are out and you get this thing going, the machine guns look like they're actually firing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great. I like a lot of airplanes. They're really nice in display. Like if you can hang them, especially in a room, you can hang them from the ceiling, which is really
neat.
It gives a lot of dimension to your collection.
I agree. So these propellers even move, and it was made on NYC in 1938. And what I think is really neat is that it comes with its original box that has the Marx Sparkling Airplane.
Oh, look at that. It was a gift.
And Right. So it has this
And
neat little mark of provenance.
What's it say? To Ryan from Merrill?
To Roger from Merrill. And I think that's so charming that that's still on there. But the other thing that I noticed was this address down here. So it says by Louis Marks and Co., 205th Avenue, New York, New York. And I Googled the address.
He's like, where's 205th Avenue? We were just there.
I mean, I can imagine where it is in New York, but I Googled it because I was curious as to see exactly where that was. And today, it's a Lego store.
So it's still a toy store.
Yeah, so it hasn't really migrated that much from what it was when you could actually purchase this plane in New York. But the box is neat, and even on the back, I know that this isn't the specific condition you'd love to see a box in, obviously, but I still think that it's really nice, and I think this is what makes it extra special. Obviously, the address, and then even on the back, it has the directions for assembling the airplane. So it really shows you in great detail how to work it from top to bottom, which is very neat.
The fuselage actually disconnects from the wings. That's how it could fit in a small box like this. It's for shipping and things like that. So looking at it, I just watched the movie Dunkirk. So I was thinking of that, but this is actually a bomber. They had fighter planes in Dunkirk, but two-man bomber and then the bombardier in the back here. You can see his little payload right below. Ah, very nice.
That's really cool. So that airplane is lot 263.
Oh, and our final cyber toy.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Of course, we have to add boats in as well. So
add boats in.
This is the Battleship.
So this is made by Bing. And you can see it's a clockwork mechanism, so you line it up.
Look at that propeller spin. So this is also in working order, as you can see. It's about 1920. And as Ray said, it was made by Bing.
It's about 14 inches, I guess, 14, 15 inches. Fairly early, probably around 1910, 1915. Sort of what we had, we call this a ram bow. So see how it comes out. So this is back when they still thought that ramming ships was sort of a viable option. That it didn't really work in practice as well as it sounds. It's missing a couple lifeboats, but it's all original. So nothing's been done to it. It does have some chips on the hull, but that's things that, you know, you could get that touched up, but what I like about this is 100% original. Excuse me. And then if you look, so you can, on all these boats, because this is a clockwork, this boat only came in clockwork, but you can lift the whole superstructure off, and you can see inside the clockwork mechanism.
Yes. So you can see all of that in there.
So that's it's one of the rarer things that Cyber has had. You know, this, you know, they actually, alpha you see in there, there's lead weights. So this was actually meant to float in a pond. So these boats, like the Bings, the Marklands, not so much the Fleischmans, they would actually do a float test on them. So they would put them in water so that they would know where the water line would be, and that's what they would paint it on. And it was sort of different for every boat. It's like every ship. So at this time, they were sort of being more precise, but later on, they just sort of would guesstimate. But there's a couple of handcrafted weights in the bottom there to do it. But you see on the back here, it says...
Actually, it has some weight to it. I mean...
That's the only way you can get it to work. It's like a boat. You got to have ballast in there.
It does have a made in Germany stamp on the back right there that you might not be able to see in the catalog or online.
So yeah, nice boat. So that rounds out our Cyber. Again, how many lots do we have? We have a lot.
We have a lot of lots for Cyber. So you can jump on liveauctioneers.com and search Cyber Toy Auctions. The entire catalog will come up. Like I said, we're still accepting bids all week this week. And the auction begins at 10 a.m. EST this Saturday.
And Bree and I will be around all week. If you have any calls or anything, feel free to call or email us.
And we also have Leon and Julian and Anj and Beth and Angela working out of the gallery. So
Stephen and Robert
and Robert, yeah. So everyone's working hard at the gallery, and they're prepping everything for shipping. And they also would be happy to take any pictures if you'd like extra pictures of lots, anything like that. You can contact any of us, and we'll be happy to help. So we hope to see you online on Saturday for Cyber Toys.
That's right. It's gonna be epic.
And on, like I said earlier in the broadcast, we're doing a double header. So, I mean, it's technically 2 days, but in the auction world, we're calling that a double header.
It's true.
So, for Old Toy Soldier.
2 auctions in 1 weekend. That's close enough to a double header for me.
So on Sunday, Old Toy Soldier auctions, we're having our 37th auction, and it is Toy Soldiers in winter dress. It also begins at 10 a.m. EST. You can also search for it on liveauctioneers.com under Old Toy Soldier. And we are going to begin with our beautiful cover lot here. This is lot 77, and it is the Trophy of Wales set Winter Holiday Omnibus.
And we just sort of have the back here. You can sort of see what it looks like all together. But just a beautiful piece. Trophy made some wonderful, Trophy was in Wales. They made some wonderful figures, primarily in the 80s and early 90s. But what's nice about this is an omnibus, but the advertising was what I loved.
Yes.
So again, we have Hamley's, one of my favorite stores when I go to London.
And Hamley's actually opened in 1760 by a gentleman named William Hamley, of course. And it's really become a London landmark. It became a London landmark in 1837 and was called William's Joy Emporium. And in 1881, it was so popular in the demand of all his toys, he opened the Regent Street London store, which is the one that is featured on here, Regent Street London, which is still open today. And it is called the Royal Toy Shop, and it is because the Queen is actually a fan of
their customers.
The store, and she had been known to purchase toys in the store, and they're supposedly, which we can't confirm, but there's still some of them in the royal family that she had purchased
Sure they are.
years back. And I just think that it's so cool that you could actually own this and the store still exists. And if you're in London or if you're visiting, you can visit the store. And
I do every time when we go to London next. I'm going to take you there.
And like
a lot
Ray
of times
said,
they'll have a beautiful Britain's display in the window. Not too long ago I was there and they did that, I think.
and they have the decor along the front. The other thing that you're seeing on the cover that I'm not able to actually hold up fully to the camera are these, the horses.
Yeah. Trophy really made very, very nice figures. So, I mean, this is one of the more desirable of the Trophy pieces. Really pretty. You know, again, it's mint in the box, but I like just all the little details. Like they got
And there's even more
little
decor
wreaths.
that we didn't have on there
wreaths
because we
for the
wanted
holiday,
you
things like that.
to see the advertising on the side. But those are all of the pieces. And they have all the people on here. I mean, even this gentleman, has a, you know, it's so detailed. You can see the pins on his uniform. He's holding a cane. He has a top hat on. This little woman might have just went shopping in Hamley. She has a little present on her lap.
What'd she buy?
I don't know.
Something nice.
Something. So she has something. And this, oh, he has a package too. He also has a little pipe. So it's very, very detailed and very cool.
Yeah.
So that's our cover lot 77.
It's a good one. And then
It
what
is.
we have? Oh, we have a ton of King and Country in this sale. So,
King and Country fans.
Yeah, there's a lot of King and Country. We just picked this little Scout car out, because I liked it. Made by Daimler. They're now part of the Chrysler brand, but this goes back, I believe it's an Australian car. They call it the Dingo. But this is the box.
The Dingo.
And again, we have a lot of their fighting vehicles. King Country 1/32nd scale. One of the more popular of the newer lines. I believe this set here was made in I think it was probably the early 2000s this set came out. But again, the detailing on it is really exquisite.
It is. I mean, you can even see down to the buckles on his socks. And in this 3-piece lot. So this gentleman's a piece, there's a driver in there, and then the car itself. And as Ray pointed out, it comes with its original King and Country box, which is also nice. And
the nice thing with King and Country, they covered a lot of different wars that, maybe Britain's or Mignot or some of the other older manufacturers didn't cover. So you can really sort of let your imagination go wild and really sort of make dioramas and scenes,
yes.
For more contemporary battles.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. I think that, King and Country definitely has a different look than the staple Britons when you think of an old toy soldier do. But what I love so much about King and Country, not only do they come in their foam-packed, easy-to-ship boxes.
Easy to ship. We like shipping them.
But in all seriousness, the dioramas that you can build with the King and Country soldiers and vehicles and tanks and everything that they have to offer are just beautiful. And the winter scenes, they're off the charts. If you haven't been to the Old Toy Soldier show in Chicago in late September, you should definitely visit that show because they just have wonderful dioramas lining the hallways on the way to the show.
They do.
It's very cool.
Speaking of King and Country, since this sort of the diversity that they have,
Yes.
you should on that.
And this also is in celebration this Friday, the 16th of Chinese New
Chinese
Year.
New Year's. Happy Chinese Year of the Dog to you.
Year of the Dog.
Better than the Year of the Rat.
True, the return.
So show them how it sort of goes back and forth. So this is actually sort of working toy. That dragon actually sort of rocks back and forth. Sort of has like a little pendulum system underneath it.
It does.
And there's a whole series, Streets of Hong Kong. So again, that's what's neat about King and Country. Is you can really sort of let your mind go wild and collect almost any country, any sort of theme that you like. So this is part of their Streets of Hong Kong series.
Streets of Hong Kong, the flying dragon with the gleeful children.
And these are earlier. These, I believe, are from the 80s. Show them the box there. They used to have the green shiny box.
Yes,
That's
they do.
what I call them, the green shiny box. I don't know if that's right or not, but
That's what we're going to call them. So, yes, you can see the King and Country label there.
so that we refer to usually as gloss. So it's King and Country gloss. They have the number on the end here.
They do.
That's Flying Dragon.
So King and Country, the Britons go by the set numbers, and King and Country, they do as well. They're just a little more intricate. They include letters and numbers. So this one, well, the Dingo Scout car backing up one lot was EA010, and if you're looking to fill in holes in your collection, and this Flying Dragon is HK087G. So they're a little more complicated, that's because
that's what they mean.
Yeah, that's because of the dioramas, and there's so many pieces, and they all line up. So it's really, really cool. So the dragon was lot 430.
Okay, moving on to some dime store. Now this is an unusual dime store. Okay, they call this Miller or Miller Plaster. American made. These were made right before the war and during the war. Now the reason they made these is that there were all kinds of lead drives and metal drives going on. There was rationing, so you didn't want to use any type of metal to make a toy because they were using them to make guns and bullets and things like that. So this company decided that they're going to make figures out of plaster. No restrictions on plaster during the war. So these are plaster figures. They're a little bigger scale. They made a whole series of them. They're American made. This is one of my more favorite ones, though. It's a Flamethrower.
This is lot 456, and this is the original paper and wire.
Yep, so I have a wire with the paper on it. It was printed. They would glue it on there. But nice scale. Very affordable figures. Probably this figure will sell around $35, $30, something like that. But, again, very early, and sort of it was originated and incarnated from the fact that we couldn't make lead figures anymore. So actually Barclay and Man Oil and the lead figure manufacturers closed down during the war. I shouldn't say closed down, but they switched their production to wartime production. Mm-hmm. So they were making things for the military, but they couldn't get those kind of products to actually bring in, currency. So this company said, well, we'll make some...
We're going to find a workaround to that. And they did.
They did. And they're beautiful, great detail.
It is. I mean,
they're very difficult to get in this kind of condition because they are plaster. They chip very easily.
Right, and the colors. I mean, you could see here it goes from orange to yellow to green to tan to the brown, and all the detailing on this paper. And let me tell you, when I actually pulled this out of the box when we were just looking at it, I was looking at the paper, and it's so beautiful that I wasn't 100% sure if it was original. And Ray confirmed that. He's looked at it multiple times. And it is original, but that just goes to show the beautiful condition that it is in. But that is it's made by Miller and lot 456. It was very sad.
They're fun figures now.
Yes, so now we're moving on to something that I'm familiar with. I mean, not specifically these figures, but I remember playing with Lincoln Logs growing up.
Wow, me too. I play with Lincoln Logs.
I would build massive cabins and stack everything up.
Me too. I like doing that.
And put all the different rows.
So this is Og, the Son of Fire series.
This is the Son of Fire, yes. It was mimicked off of a radio show, a CBS radio show in the 1930s. And this is Og.
That's Og, leader of the pack. And we're missing his wife. Who was his wife? Nada.
Nada.
Wife's not there, but we got many of the other rare figures.
We have Rue.
Rue, very rare. There's that.
We have Big
Big
Tooth.
Tooth.
Who, he was the one that defended them, and he made this bow and arrow when they were captured by the tree people.
And then their faithful pet, little Three-Horn.
He was their pet.
Isn't that
He's
nice?
adorable. And he says Three-Horn on him, on this side. And on the other side, he says Libby's Milk, which is interesting because not only was Og the Son of Fire a radio show in the 1930s, but it also was designed to advertise for Libby's evaporated milk.
And that's what you would do. When you bought their milk, you would take the milk cap, and then you would send that in along with postage and handling. Can't forget the postage and handling. And then they would send you these figures. Depending on how many caps, you can get one figure, you can get the complete set. The complete set is, again, it has Nada and it has Rex.
Right, there's
Rex
6.
is Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's the rarest of them. It actually looks like Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then I guess the rarest thing on it is they actually came with like a little map that I guess showed where the pictures are. That's extremely rare. Never had one of those.
So I like to also call Og the OG because I don't know if anyone has seen the movie Ice Age, but if you listen, or there's some of them on YouTube, but you can, if you Google Og the Sun, the radio show, you can actually find the scripts. I don't know how accurate they are, but they sound very similar to the movie The Ice Age, where they would be going through the Arctic and Og was leading the pack and he would just really defend them from Tyrannosaurus Rex and all of these different things, and they were just trying to get through that to get to the other side. So I thought that it kind of really mimicked that
the
story.
original gangster.
Or that.
Or is it the original Godfather? One of the two.
Sure. I mean,
Said OG. Whatever it is, that's the original. As he goes back to prehistoric times.
he does. So they're really neat, and like we said, we have 4 of the 6, and they are lots 339 to 341. In those lots, we actually have 2 Ogs, and one's in better condition than the other, but if you're looking for any of them, they're in those mix match lots, and yes, they're just really neat.
Okay.
And next we're moving on to a Marlboro lot that is 125, and
this is one of your favorites.
this is one of my favorites. I
Steady
really love
hands
it.
here.
I know.
Steady hands.
So this is actually 7 pieces in total. So they all come apart. But I think that it is the most charming piece. As you can see, for those of you that are familiar with Punch and Judy, there are variations of Punch. You'll see him not only as a piece in folk art that is very popular, but he also was made as a bank in multiple variations, and he's also made as a soldier. So I think that this is just, it's the nanny and the 3 children watching the Punch puppet show. There was a very famous early show, and that's really what he was mimicked with, his pointy nose, his hunchback, and his bat, which is what he typically has. And it's just, I think once again, it's a great crossover piece. If you're a Punch collector, if you have the Punch and Judy bank, if you don't, even if you don't, you can look up the story of Punch because it was just a famous puppet show, and I think that it's really cool.
Yeah, and then this actually comes off, and then there are a couple Punch and Judy banks that we have, but this is actually almost identical to the German version of the bank.
It is.
The German one's a little larger, made of tin. But, really a spitting image of the bank. So nice, made by Marlboro. We don't get a whole lot of Marlboro, made in the UK, mainly in the 80s and 90s. That's what the lid looks like there. They're very detailed figures, very pretty.
Yes, it's very
and
pretty.
Again, very affordable. Yeah, this kind of set very affordable. Probably will sell for under $200.
And even in the back of this, you can see that there is a lake scene back here with trees. It actually looks like a painting, and there's horses.
It's amazing.
It's really
The
cool.
detail, I mean, even
I don't even know how you paint in between back there. It's so little.
Even little figures. I mean, look at the detailing on sort of her dress and her.
I know
bonnet.
all the little figures.
Just really, really detailed.
They're just really
figures.
detailed. They're in beautiful condition. And this also came with it.
Ah.
It's this little tile.
Here, let me pass my cup. Pass my cup.
And it says, Punch and Judy, at the end of the performance, there will be a silver collection.
I need my silver. We've been working.
You read that? I think that's cool. It's just really
I
neat.
always want to pass the hat at the end of the show.
Well, they performed. They
That's
deserved
right.
it.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know if you deserve it from a nanny and her children, but
True. Take it from the kids. Where's your money?
but I think that it's neat. So that, once again, that marble set is $125. That's the
All right.
lot number.
You ready to dance on out of this thing?
We are.
All right, our final lot. We
Yes.
went through a lot.
We
I went
did.
through a lot of lots tonight, but 2 sales.
Yes. So we're dancing out. We're going out on a high note. Grand finale.
We got the showgirls.
We have the Parisian showgirls. They're beautiful. They have glitter. I love them. They're lot 139. They're 80 millimeter scale. They were made by Mignot, and it's a 3-piece set. It comes with its original box. They just remind me of being in Paris at the Moulin Rouge.
Well, funny you should say that because you could actually buy these exact figures at the Moulin Rouge.
Can you?
And sometimes you'll see them, they'll be inscribed Moulin Rouge. They bought them from Mignot, and I believe they still sell them there today, or at least they did maybe 10, 15 years ago last time I was there. But yeah, that's the Moulin Rouge showgirl. Cannon on out.
And here, I'll show you the original box that they came in. They are in like very nice condition too. But they have
It's a Mignot box.
the Mignot box that's also in beautiful condition, has its end label, and they came in their original foam as well. So I know it went so fast.
Fast.
I wish we could show every lot that we had for sale.
Oh, we might need 10 or 12 hours for that.
Well, we would, but it would be fun.
I agree.
I'm sure we'd have something to say about everything.
I agree with you.
It's that fun. So if there's anything that you missed that you'd like to see closer, like I said, we can send photos. We can answer any questions that you have by phone or email. In the conclusion of this broadcast, I am going to place 2 links below the video. One will be to the Cybertoy auction catalog. You can register and watch the auction live from that link. The other will be to the Old Toy Soldier auction catalog, where you can also register and watch that auction live. And also, we have very exciting news. We have been updating content on our YouTube channel. It is Ray and Bree Live. You can go to youtube.com and search RAY and BRE. Spaces between live, and all the videos will come up. We have 24 videos on there right now. 22 of them are just the live episodes that were archived off of Facebook. And then we have a new series that we've debuted called Adventures with Ray and Bree. And those are pre-filmed. They are edited, and they're up there for your enjoyment. The 2 that are up there right now, one is at the Kid Toy Museum in Portland, Oregon. And the second one is at the Fraser History Museum, in Louisville, Kentucky, where we have an exclusive interview with Mr. Charles Stewart. And so that video is awesome. And we also, just this past week, we have 2 other exclusive interviews that are in the works. So they've been filmed. They're going to be in the editing room very shortly.
Hope to get them out soon.
And they're the next 2 for Adventures with Ray and Bree. And one we would like to announce is the Dr. Z collection.
Very exciting.
Yes.
For you don't know that Dr. Z, he's a famous collector from the Detroit area. And we've been tapped to sell his whole collection. So we're very excited about that.
And RSL is going to be auctioning the bulk of Dr. Z's collection. He has many early American tin toys, as well as mechanical and cast iron, and still cast iron banks. They are beautiful and there's some folk art as well and some art. So it's just a really nice collection.
Nice
so you can look forward to that exclusive interview with Dr. Z on Adventures with Ray and Bree. It rhymed.
It's always an adventure with Ray and Bree.
Yes. So jump on our YouTube channel is the moral of the story. And also next week, we would like to remind everyone that there is a big event going on for all of you Old Toy Soldier collectors out there at the Fraser History Museum on February 23rd. And it is the 125th anniversary of Britain's. And it's going to be a wonderful event, and you can still jump online right now for that event at frasermuseum.org. There's many details. We will be there, and as well as the staff from the museum. There's some wonderful speakers that will be giving some talks about Old Toy Soldiers and just celebrating 125-year anniversary of Britain's.
Yeah, I believe Ken Osen from Britain's will be speaking.
Yes.
And then Roger Garfield
Yes.
from the Chicago Toy Soldier Show will also be speaking.
He will.
So it should be a nice night. Friday night, I believe.
Friday night. So we recommend that. Once again, if you're looking for tickets or have any questions, you can contact us and we'll put you right in contact with the staff at the museum. That's frasermuseum.org. And following that, we are going to California. We're going to the West Coaster March 4th. And you can, for tickets, more information, hotel information, you can go to westcoaster.com. And like I said, you can also ask us any questions and we'll point you in the right direction for that show. Following that, we have an RSL auction on March 17th, which we spoke of earlier in the broadcast. It is the Kirk Addis collection of Stowbanks. And that catalog is going to be up within the next week or so. You'll be able to register and click to view the catalog, or we can mail you a catalog at rslauctionco.com. And then we have Old Toy Soldier auction, May 24th and 25th, of the Edmund Pelletier collection. And for that, it is in the works right now as well. It will be up online within the next week or two as well. And that you can look for at raytoys.com.
So what you're saying is we don't have a whole lot lined up for spring.
Our spring's going to be,
Almost nothing.
you know.
Should be a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, and we are looking forward to seeing everybody on the other side of the screen this weekend for Cybertoy and Old Toy Soldier auctions. Happy collecting.
Good luck bidding.
Thank you.